Hello everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin Trade here, and basically what I'm going to look at is some recent price action movements. If you haven't already figured out what's going on, you probably have by now. And so, let me see here, let me get this going. And so this is Bitstamp. Here it is, Bitstamp 6 hour. There's some prices here. There's the price right there, and let me see. There's the date. Okay, specifically right there. And so there you go. And you see the price is falling, and I've heard some couple rumors of probably same as you, another ban by China again. But it's kind of weird how these bans kind of correlate with price action, because the rumor starts around here and then it's at a downtrending resistance and then falls, which my last episode I didn't mention that it's going to bounce around here and it's going to do one or two things. It's going to break down and it's going to be kind of violent, and it was kind of violent, or break up and being violent and going up, but it chose to break down. So combination news, technical analysis, a lot of things. And if you're wondering what this line was here, I drew this line because it stopped right here in the middle of breaking down from this support line and halfway down here, which kind of wonder why, why did it stop here, and stopped at all three indices. So I did draw some lines here, and there was a good reason for this. It made sense, but as you can tell, when the prices fall below that, it's not really a valid support. It's I guess a false support. So this bounce here was a false support and just continues to slide down. So based on that, I mean, I'm thinking that a good this is probably the real support here, and this is more of a floor support, I guess. And the reason why I say it's a floor support is because the way the support lines are going, they're going in a horizontal instead of any angled up or angled down, or angled going, anything angled going up or angled, going down. So when I see the breakthrough here, I'm looking at something of this kind of similar pattern, where you're going to get a breakdown, breakthrough, and then from there it's going to bounce back up, which maybe it won't. Just because I say or I think it will do it doesn't mean it will. So, but that's what I'm thinking. I've always mentioned this would be a good support, but anywhere below this depends how you want to do it, but it's all a good buy in my opinion. Eventually this triangle here is going to get smaller and smaller, and it's going to probably do the same things. It's going to bounce up, it's going to test this resistance again, and maybe at a lower price it's easier to break through that resistance, or it's just going to get pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. Really it's up to people who are buying and selling at these exchanges. Now remember, these exchanges don't really reflect reality in some ways. It reflects a price at the exchange, and if you noticed, each exchange is different in price. So let's go to some of the other ones. So that was Bitstamp. This is BitC 6 hour, and I mean, this is very easy. I had to redraw some of these lines, of course, but the same concept was here. I was wondering why it stopped here, and I saw a line here that made a lot of sense, and what it was doing is parallel. It kind of reflected a lot of things, but obviously right now it seems like it's a false support, because it bounced and it's continuing to break through here, which is not too far for BitC being at for BitC. For some reason it's a different chart analysis. So 440 around here is a support versus some of the other charts which are at 420. So you're looking at the same thing. and then Bitfin, which I really think they should just add Bitfin up here and move this thing to the side a little bit to the right, you know, just have it be up here. They're gonna, in my opinion anyway. So Bitfin is a little bit more different in the chart analysis, really different in a lot of ways. Let me see here. Okay, that the this is the resistance line right here, and it followed, you know, hit up and broke up and followed this channel, broke down again on this support here, went up, didn't hit that resistance, but you know, you get the point. It just couldn't do it and then broke down. And so of course I did redraw some of these lines to make it I can better understand what's going on. And again, this is on a 6-hour period, so you know, I'm really taking a step back and looking at this, because now we're getting some really good price action history, to kind of, you know, do some forecasting, speculation, hedging, or straight investing, whatever you want to do. Same thing, false support, which looked like there was something here, breaks through. And this is a 6 hour, so when you see it on the 6 hour breaking through like that, it's a pretty good breakthrough. It could bounce back and go up, who knows, but I really think this is a real true support right here. It's proven itself to be a good support several times, and I think a lot of these, you know, this support area right here in particular, miners are watching. I've been having people, you know, tell me that their miners or wherever they get their bitcoins from, they have stopped selling bitcoins. That's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is. That could be the case, because my miner told me something similar, in which you know, miners don't like the price to go down too far, because you know, mining rigs are expensive to maintain. Not in, like, you know, power or anything, but buying a miner or buying a mining rig is becoming more and more difficult. And I'll go over some headlines a little bit after talking about that, but let's just go over this, so you, for anyone who wants to just know an update, because you know, people tend to get a little edgy when the prices start to fall, and I understand. So let's see what's going on with the prices. So it looks like it is breaking through here. It's clearly a breakthrough, especially on a 6 hour. When you see a good break like that, this is obviously a false support. And then I would say this is more of a better support here, because it has some history right around this price area. It's like a floor support is what I would consider it. So have some set here if you can, and hopefully it will maintain a price level, and then maybe regroup and bounce back up. Hopefully it'll bounce back up. And let's look at one more. That was, by the way, that was Bitfin. I'm sorry, Bitfin. Okay, there's the price. I see a lot of larger limit orders here than I do on the other exchanges. Like, for example, this 100, 102, 17. These are a little bit smaller, but you know, they do a lot of margin trading, and who knows, a lot of people who are, well, who have a lot of coins. And I've never taken money out, but maybe it is easier for you to take your money out over there. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I also noticed that on Bitfin, its prices are typically lower when there's a downtrend, and then they're typically on par with Bitstamp or Coinbase price on an uptrend. So there's another clue for you know, people who trade or investing in Bitcoin, of how the price is going to move. So, and let's look at one more. This is Coinbase, and again, I'm limited in the data on Coinbase, but I'm trying to do the same. And again, I saw something here. Why did it stop here and then go bounce back up? Probably a lot of people who trade followed this particular line. I don't want to go back too far, but I had to go back to a couple weeks to get into this. But they probably thought there was something here at this price level for support. Seems like they were wrong, because it did bounce and then slowly was being sold off after that, and it's continuing to go down. It's pretty strong. That's a pretty strong candlestick to be that long. So look for prices around here. Again, this is about for about 420, a little bit lower than that, but again, anywhere in here is in my opinion a really good buy. If you want to stagger your limit orders, like a smaller amount, a larger amount, then a bigger amount, you can do that. It's a good way to mitigate some risk. But so far it is going down. So that's kind of, I mean, if I just showed you this much here, and the price was here, and now the price is here, it's going down. Kind of simple. So let's go on to some recent news here. Like this one in particular. I'm not going to show the guy eating his hat, but this is kind of like a thing that I'm seeing more and more often, is that these companies that make a claim to these mining rigs, right? And they're charging an arm and a leg, and once you know it, court in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm telling you, man, I don't know about the rest of America, but I really feel like Texas, you wouldn't think Texas would be a place where Bitcoins would be, kind of be taking off, or you wouldn't expect Texas to be the place for Bitcoins. You think New York. A lot of people are looking at New York, but I'm in Texas, just to let you know. Specifically in Houston. If you haven't seen my other videos, you probably figured that out by now. But I'm starting to notice a lot of things out here in my state, Texas, and specifically in my city, Houston, that I don't think is going on anywhere in the world. I really don't. I see a lot of things, I read about a lot of things, but behind the scenes, things that aren't reported, like there's a lot of things going on with Bitcoin in my area that the great thing about Bitcoin is that you don't, it is somewhat anonymous, but at the same time it can be very, very private. Like you'll see things going on, but you don't know what the reason and why it's going on. It's just going on. So, but a lot of these things seems to be a lot of news. Seems to be happening in Texas regarding Bitcoins and everything. I've seen CoinDesk report on some of these things, but I see a lot of this. These reports where these so-called mining companies, and I don't know anything about the mining rig business side. All I know is it's just a computer. It's just a tower with chips in it, and they process something or whatever. That's all I know. And I'm thinking, wow, how hard can it be to put a computer together? I don't know. I don't know how hard it can be, but obviously it's hard enough that they're getting sued over it. So they're taking money, but they're not delivering. Something's not right there, in my opinion. So if you can't deliver on your agreement, you should refund your money. You should refund the money. It's kind of that simple. So you either have it or you don't. So this is beginning to be a lot of issue. So miners out there may not be selling their Bitcoins after a certain price level falls. So that's just a heads up for any investors out there. If they're wondering, like I said, around 400, 420, with the Bitcoin prices in general, or if you look at the CoinDesk price, if it goes down to that level, expect miners, people who mine Bitcoins, like newly minted Bitcoins, to not sell their Bitcoins. They're going to hold on to it. That's what I think is going to happen. That's the feedback I'm getting from my miners here. Some other headlines. This is a very interesting headline. I know this is being done anyway with some of the other currencies in local currency or local vultures, not vulture, voucher, I should say, um, which has been really popular in the UK. Now they got something that doesn't cost a lot of money. Actually, doesn't cost a lot of money at all. They don't have to print this stuff out. They don't have to worry about forgery. Um, and the way it's designed is designed in a way that you definitely have to use it in that community. In this particular case, it's being used for social equality in some ways, social financing. But you can do this with almost anything. Any local government can, I guess, with the open source software, can create their own ecosystem with cryptocurrencies. No printings required. Counterfeiting is kind of difficult, but I think you would run into the same drawbacks of anything that's worth of value, especially with cryptocurrencies, is you're still going to run into cyber terrorist and financial terrorist. So that's still going to happen, and that's something that I think people should be aware of, that they can be scammed, frauded, defrauded, and hacked. All right, so that's still not going to change, but what's going to change is that the money or the value, stored value, is going to be staying within a local community and be used by the intended people for use, although it can be abused, but ideally for I guess what they would consider poor people who are under a certain income level. So this is very interesting. I think it's going to work, and it may be more cost effective. So, and let me some other headlines here that I'm reading. And this one in particular, I always like reading Mr. John. Is it John Law? Yeah, John Law, which is obviously not a real name, but a pen name maybe. Make your own cash, blah blah blah. This kind of talks a little bit about a little bit of everything. The one I'm focusing on in general is, Bitcoin comes from the internet, so a lot of my information comes from the internet, kind of fitting. So, but this talks about the Coin Summit in San Francisco. Looks like this person didn't go there, they just kind of went online. I'm a little too busy for this, so it's kind of good that someone else does this and I can just read it real quick. But it seems like a lot of things are going on in the Bitcoin community, and that's great. That leads me to this particular article right here. Backers clash over whether to keep cryptocurrency. What did it say? Clash over ideological and practical uses. Supporters clash over. So you're seeing an evolution in the use of Bitcoin, and what does it mean for other people. And I think this is very interesting because what you're seeing here, and here's the article if anybody wants to read it, and there's the author, and that's the date. It's very interesting to see this because you're starting to see how independent Bitcoin has become. So it's not even controlled by the early supporters, the early adopters who really took on and made it what it is now. Even then, it's so independent, it can not be in their control either. I mean, they obviously had an influence in how it developed and everything, but even then, they don't even control what Bitcoin is. And some of the newer ideas and newer ideology, I guess, and uses have come into play with people who have their own vision of what Bitcoin is to them. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It should be something that's Bitcoin is whatever you want it to be, despite what other people think it should be, if that makes sense. So I don't have a problem with this. I don't see a problem with it. It's just, to each its own. And if you own your own Bitcoin, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And that's the point of it. That's the point. I mean, why else would I be doing this? Why would anybody else be doing this? Why would anybody buy a Bitcoin, if you really think about it? Why would anybody buy nothing? Because that's what you've basically done. You bought nothing. You bought an idea. You bought into a concept, a belief, a dream, a vision. I don't know. Whatever it is to you, you bought into. I don't know. For some people, they bought some drugs. They bought whatever. I'm just joking about the last part, but I don't know. I mean, it is whatever you want it to be. So I guess there might be a clash of culture, ideas, uses. But that's so amazing about Bitcoin, is that it's so independent. Even the people who embraced it early on and made it what it is now, it's not even independent from them. And I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just evolving. So, okay, so last part I'm going to go over is, I just hate bringing this up, but the news just keeps bringing it up, and maybe I did an episode, and I don't know if anybody remembers one of my early episodes on what I think Mt. Gox is doing with your money. And remember I told you they're burning your money? Well, maybe they weren't literally burning your money, but it seems like they were burning through your money. So I just hate bringing up a dead horse and just beating over it again. But you know what? Since it's already dead and everyone's just kicking it on their way towards another exchange, why not? We'll go back to it and just kick it some more. Kick that dead horse. Beat that dead horse just a couple more times. I mean, it's just get it out of your system, right? So, very interesting article, and talking about adding salt to the wound. There you go. And you know what makes this really despicable, in my opinion? This is what makes it really despicable. Let me see. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so this is what makes it despicable, and I think this is probably the reason why the owner, Mr. Karpeles, is most likely, no matter what he does, even if he's like innocent, he's probably still going to go to jail. Now I'm just speculating, but you know me, I love speculating. So where is it? Staff kept in the dark. You should read this article. Alright, so basically, okay, here it is. Okay, so last week it was also revealed Karpeles is refusing to travel to the U.S. for questioning as part of the Gregory Green lawsuit. Alright, so now he's trying to hide, and that's what makes it despicable for a person who is, obviously there's some fear of guilt or persecution, and maybe in a court of law that doesn't mean anything, but in a court of opinion, and he's already got a really bad opinion. Everyone has a really bad opinion of this person. Now he's just refusing to, face the music. It just makes it more despicable. Just adds more salt to the wound for all those people. For me, it kind of does leave a very bad taste. So, anyways, I think they're going to really make an example out of this particular person, just to show all the other exchanges anywhere around the world. If you do anything like this, you're going to get rung through. You're going to get squeezed. You're not coming this with, you're not getting out of this smelling like a rose, while basically you dumped on everyone else. So that's just my opinion. And I think over time, I mean, the government can take you to court to infinity. And I use infinity a lot, don't I? Bitcoin to infinity. Infinity. Well, the government can take you to court to infinity, and you'll have the right to defend yourself, and it's going to be very expensive. And by the time you're done, there may be a good chance you may still lose. This stuff just brings up a recent memory of Enron, where, I mean, that whole thing when was it Kenneth Lay? I believe Kenneth Lay, the day after he's found guilty, or something like that, just right after he's found guilty, he has a heart attack. I mean, talk about irony, and how weird can that get? Well, this is probably going to be another one of those weird things where, you know, it's just going to get weird as time goes on. So I'll be watching for this. This is going to be interesting. Anyways, that's the kind of news for this weekend. It is Sunday for me. If anybody wants to see what the prices is on this before we leave, there it is. Here's one for BitC, if anybody's wondering. And then this is Bitfin. That's really showing a strong sell-off. So it's Sunday right now. So you got to consider, like, it's next day, other part of the world. So there may be something going on by Monday. We'll see how things turn around by Monday morning in the U.S. and see what kind of reaction we get. Will it fall down further, or will it bounce back up? And then here's CoinDesk, of course. If you're in America, I think CoinDesk is a very important index to look at. So that's what's going on there. Let's have a look at this real quick. And this is just I did a one month 6 hour on a weighted average, and this is what I'm getting. And you know, a lot of times when I see when these bands start to increase, especially on a larger time frame period, and I see the bigger, when they start really increasing and really drastically going down, I start looking for some really good opportunities to put a buy order, limit orders in here for obviously for going long. And let me see, I'll just go over a few here. We'll go over Bitfin. Same thing, when I start seeing large bands like this, I start really looking for buying opportunities. And let me see one more. Let's look at Bitstamp. And same thing. But the price is so low, it's worth the risk, in my opinion. So, anyways, this concludes this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.